You are listening to the Urban Sports Scene with Wole and Ray. It's time for HBCU Corner. Our guest is the University of Maryland Eastern Shore's women's basketball coach. We're welcoming back Coach Fred Batchelor back to HBCU Corner with the Urban Sports Scene. What's going on, Coach?
It's great to be back, man. I've always enjoyed getting with y'all.
Oh, it's amazing. We're biased, so we're a little biased. We Shore
and
alums,
I appreciate the support.
I
appreciate it. I take it.
Yeah, we Shore alums, but we just want to represent for the Shore. You know, we love the school. We love you as a coach, man. You're doing great work over there at Eastern Shore.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate the support. I've been fortunate to be in this position for a while, but it's only been by the support of others, people that have, made the way and paved the way and supported me through the process, which has allowed us to be in the position that we're in right now.
Hey, 100%, Coach. And I tell everybody, Wole does too. We love our HBCUs, but when it comes to UMES, hey, man, that's home for us, and it's always a blessing to have you. You, Coach Crafton, y'all brought us back home. Y'all brought us back down to UMES, and it had been a while since we've been there. So that's been a blessing. So, of course, it's great to have you. And where I want to start it is last time we had you on, you actually had just taken a former player to a doctor's appointment. And that's something that's highly unique for a coach to do. But that father type of relationship that you have with your players, is that why you have such a great rapport with them?
I think it has a lot to do with it. I really believe in service is a big part of leadership, and show me how much you care before you show me how much you know. I tell these kids, these parents, particularly the parents, I'm gonna take care of your child. I don't know how much they're gonna play, and that becomes a bigger issue with parents a lot of times. But I think they value the fact that they really believe that somebody cares about their child. I mean, I have 2 children myself, and they are the world to me. My daughter will be graduating from UMES, getting her master's degree here in December. And out of all the time I spent here, that is probably the most special experience that I'm having, to watch my daughter come here for graduate school and grow as a Black female and become even more comfortable in her own skin at the University of Maryland Eastern Shore than even at home. And so I'm indebted to this university for a lot of reasons. And one, when people take care of and look out and support something that's really important to you, like your children, it means a lot. And that's why I know taking care of these young people, when God puts them in my care, it's my responsibility to take care of them. And I take that very seriously.
Awesome. And we like Ray said, like it's something different. Once we talked to you last year about that, and like just once you said that, we were like, wow, like, man, you're a mentor. You're such an amazing mentor to not just representatives of the Shore, and also a mentor to like the kids that you coach.
Well, I was listening to something on Instagram, Coach Staley, Dawn Staley, who I'm a big fan of. This women's game, it's their game. And I'm so happy to see her have the success that she's having, from playing to coaching, and had a chance to coach against her here when she was at Temple. We won't be going down to South Carolina, that's for sure. But just listening to her and talk about the empowerment of Black females and how important that is. And as a man, coaching women, I believe it's extra important for me to make that type of investment and make that a priority because there's certain things that they're not getting as young women by having a male head coach. And I hope they get that a lot by our support coach, our assistant coaches, associate head coach, Casey Morton, who's a former player, Amber Elliott, who's a former player, and the involvement of our former players and how they develop into women. We just had a young lady on campus who's going to be working with our team, Dr. Brittany Hazard. And she was my first recruit, very first recruit, local kid from Delaware. And she's going to be coming in, working with our young ladies on team building and developing certain type of skills to be successful outside of basketball. But having her here this Saturday with her family, her 4 children, and we're walking through the halls and we're looking at pictures of when she played. Everybody wants to win the championship, but that's my championship. That was my championship Saturday, not in March, but I had a championship Saturday, just spending time with my former players who have developed into women who want to come back and be a part of the program. So I just feel like I'm really blessed to be in the position that I'm in.
Yeah, see, Coach, that's why you're one of our favorite coaches, man. To be honest, that's why.
I appreciate that.
Hey, so Coach, it's homecoming week. And obviously, comes up with comes up with homecoming week. Do you First off, are you all set to face, George Washington University and Stony Brook during this week?
And this, the schedule change we wouldn't be in this situation if we had prior known with our schedule. The fact that we are playing a game, Stony Brook on Wednesday, it only gives us really 1 day to prepare for George Washington, who, when we went up to their place, they handled us pretty good. I thought we showed a lot of grit. We fought back. But at the end of the day, they won the basketball game head and shoulders. So we're gonna have our hands full with that team coming in. But I feel good. I feel good about our kids. I feel good about the energy that our alumni bring in the campus community, as well as the community at large. So I'm excited to play in front of them and to play an opponent that we probably would not have scheduled for a typical homecoming game. But I believe everything happens for a reason, and we're looking forward to the opportunity.
But do you feel like that brings more energy, knowing that this is like you're playing a GW, on Saturday for homecoming? It brings more energy for, obviously, I feel like the fans will provide more energy, and that will kind of boost up your girls as well.
Well, I try to look at things, when we went to GW, I did some history on the university, on George Washington and the institution. And then when we went to Virginia, and that school, Thomas Jefferson was the father of that school, and for him, he was the president that probably had the most slaves, over 600 slaves. And he was the first president to bring them into the White House. And so we look at the historical perspective of where we stand. I mean, as a limited resource university, we don't have the resources that they have. You'll see that from staff to budgets to a lot of different things. But what we do have is we have a fight in us that was kind of developed over time, over sacrifice, over hurt, over pain, over agony. And now we have an opportunity on our home floor to play against those institutions that were built by us, but yet weren't allowed to go there. And it gives us a chance to kind of reinforce the whole purpose of HBCUs and why it's still important to this day. So I really try to tap into my young ladies about the experience and understanding that, you're playing in an institution that has some limited resources, but you're playing for a much bigger purpose than playing basketball. And it's so much bigger than whether you win or lose, but it's how you play the game. And so I'm expecting our girls to go out and play their butts off in front of their home crowd on Saturday. You will not be disappointed.
I love it. I love it. Speaking of the girls playing their butts off, you guys started the season off playing tough teams, powerhouses like Georgetown and Virginia. To me, I've said this prior before the recording, you guys were competitive. How do you feel about your team's play during those two stretches of games?
Those teams are big, man. They're huge, and then you don't really realize how much size really matters. Georgetown it made things very difficult for us to score and get things off, but we fought and we put ourselves in a position to win that basketball game. And we came up short. And then we went to UVA, which is an ACC team, and playing against a first team all conference ACC player in the middle. And they were huge as well. And we went out to 6-0. We started out with a 6-0 lead. Kids were not afraid of the lights. They came out, they showed up. But then over time in the fourth quarter, a 6-point game, we're down 10. And over time, they just kind of wore us down to where they got away from us. But I'm so proud of our young ladies, man, and the way they fight against all odds. I mean, those teams and those kids, those programs are way ahead of us on a lot of different levels. We don't have time to even talk about that. And it's kind of tough to put our kids in those situations and then say, okay, go out and be successful. But it's the fight that's developed in the process. And I think we got better. I think we had a good showing in both those games, and we became a better basketball team. And I think everything that we go through in the non-conference, my former coach, Coach Rakes, who's now at Coppin on the men's side, who did the schedule, I was really pleased with how we were able to get more home games, play some mid-majors right in our backyard. So I'm excited about what this schedule is going to produce and what we're going to become after it. Because at the end of the day, we know it's all going to be decided in March.
What was the girls' thought process after those two games?
I love this team, man. It's challenging coaching any group of young people, but it's not a fight with these kids. They like when I get upset with them. I've gotten a little older now, and I don't get as angry as I used to 10, 20 years ago. So I'm a little more reserved, and sometimes they need that fire. And when it comes out, they appreciate it. They respond to it. So, I challenge them. I challenge them in times where I thought we might be shrinking in the moment. And and they responded. They responded in a way that made me proud of them. And when they walked out of the game, I think they felt, they say success is, the realization of doing your best and knowing you put your best foot forward and you weren't afraid and you gave everything you got. And that's what I think they walked away with. I know I walked away with that as their coach, and I believe they walked away with that individually and collectively as a team.
Coach, I don't want to look too far ahead, but some of the stuff you talked about so far, Don Staley, not scared of the bright lights. Come on now. What does that make us think of? A potential run to the NCAA tournament. And your group returns this year. Great experience. You talked a lot about their youthfulness last year, but you gained some good experience last year. Finished really strong. Of course, that tough loss in the MEAC tournament that Wole still can't get over. But look at where you were selected preseason. We talked about that briefly before we came on. How does that motivate you and your players, and just knowing the potential of this team and the talent?
When I looked at the preseason selection and picked us fourth, it was a little sting, like, really. And
I know,
but
right?
Then I just said, I watched the video the other day and it was like, good. Everything is good, because now that just gives us more of a chip on our shoulder. The fact that Maya Thomas didn't receive one vote, one first team, second team, or third team. Mahogany Lester, Ariel Sewell, none of them. I think we're thankful that Zah got recognized as a first team all-conference player. But I think it put a big time chip. It would be tougher for me to coach a team with three kids that's recognized as all-conference players, because and I keep trying to tell these kids, preseason, all conference is just that. It's just preseason. It's what they're projecting. It has nothing to do. What I'm always looking at is who's at the end. And I guarantee you, at the end of this year, Lord willing, staying healthy, you're gonna see a couple kids get recognized at the end of the year because they're that good. Maya Thomas she's been hitting this league upside the head in that tournament since she was a freshman. She came out in her first debut as a freshman, had 21 points as a freshman. She's not had a bad game at the MEAC tournament. She scored our last bucket to go ahead and left 1.4 seconds on the clock for Howard to win that game. So when I got kids like that on my roster, and I got kids like that in my camp, I'm ready for the fight. And I like the fact that we've been kind of slighted a little bit. I think it motivates us.
Oh, absolutely. And you mentioned Zah. We had her here on this show. We interviewed her, and we asked her about your reputation at the MEAC tournament for upsetting top seeds over the years. But we believe, as we've been talking about this whole time, you're gonna be a higher seed this coming year. So will your approach change if you enter the MEAC tournament in that top three, in one of those top three seeds?
Well, I hope to not be like my hometown football team, man. They Buffalo Bills. They are great when they got to play from the back, and then when they're in the front, they disappoint. So I keep that in the back of my mind as far as how. But we know the thing about the seeding going into the tournament, it has no bearing on anything. And we've been able to prove that being a 9 seed, knocking off a 1 seed. So we know we can get knocked off as a 1 or a 2 seed in the tournament. So I think our kids, we're playing for Saturday. Saturday is the goal. We got to get there first. We just played a team today, Saturday, Washington Venice. Yeah. They scored. They hit 11 threes against Morgan the other day. They played them to a 2-point game. They played us, and I'll keep talking to my kids about respecting the opponent. Yeah. And sometimes it's hard to do that, but we've been getting lessons. Like we went in there, we played that game the other day. We went up big early. I kind of messed up and played like 12 kids in the first quarter, which is never a good thing as far as rhythm and getting the team playing the way you want them to play. You really don't do that. But I wanted everybody to get in at a valuable time, because I want everybody to feel contributed from everybody that's on the roster that comes to work every day. But I thought going in at halftime, we talked about, we're up 9. And I said, if you don't respect your opponent, you always put yourself in a position to get beat. And we've been learning valuable lessons early. This is a lesson that I'll remind them. We end up winning the game by 20 at the end of the day, but this is a lesson that we're getting lessons. And I really believe that, while they talked about this being a special year, I believe God has blessed this season for us. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means a championship. I told you we win championships a lot of different ways. But I believe it's a good possibility we're going to be cutting down those nets. And everything that we experience throughout the year is in preparation for that. The ups and the downs. It's a long year. You're going to see us go. You're going to see, I watch football, watching ESPN this morning, and they just praise you up, to bring you back down every week. It's different. And we know that the season goes ups and downs, and I'm trying to keep them consistent and understanding what our ultimate goal is. And I think these young people have really responded to that, and I believe they've completely bought in for the most part.
Coach, I ain't got to ask you this question because you pretty much already said it. I was like, flat out, I wanted you to say that this team was going to the NCAA tournament. Right? I was going to, but you pretty much, your last statement pretty much, I already know where you're coming from. So I already know. So I'm not going to ask that question right now.
Well, let me just tell you, listen, we got a second gear practice gear the other day, right? Practice gear. And I try to pride myself on being humble, like sometimes faking it sometimes so much sometimes, to be honest with you. The ego is much bigger than it comes off. But they gave us our practice gear, and I said, and the other side wasn't done, it was plain. I said, how is that going to look at practice when we're playing in the NCAA tournament? So let's take the practice gear back. Let's get the practice gear prepared for the bright lights. So that's our mindset. Lord willing, that'll be the destination. But I'm excited about working with this group to get there too. The journey.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So obviously we know players like Tamara, we know about Mahogany Lester. You mentioned Maya Thomas, one of the better point guards in the MEAC. Which new player do you guys have you want to kind of spotlight or feature that folks don't know about?
We got a transfer, Shanika Gillen and I recruited her out of high school. She went to Wole and Ray. Didn't do a whole lot at Wole and Ray, but she did a lot of intangible things. I thought she was not a good fit there. Went through some coaches changes, even an ACL tear recovery. What I love about her is her personality, what she brings to this team as a group, and her experience, her maturity, which we kind of needed at the guard spot. We needed another guard. Playing the portal, you don't want to bring in a kid that disrupts what you're bringing back. And I think she's a great addition and fitting in, kind of fitting in with some experience and some talent. And she's getting better and better every day. She has 2 years to play for us. So I'm expecting her to have an impact. And I think Lainey Allen, the sophomore, is going to have a big year. Lainey Allen, who played last year a lot, but it was a freshman in development. I think she's going to have a big impact on what we're going to be able to do this year.
Man, I'm hyped for the season. I'm not going to lie. I've been hyped for the season for a while.
But y'all get me hyped every time I talk to y'all. I wish I was out practice right now.
I'm telling you, Coach.
We need to start doing these interviews on Friday or Saturday before the game.
I'm down, man.
I'm down with it too. So, Coach, I think you mentioned it a little bit, but for you, what does it mean? You mentioned it by talking about your daughter and what how folks here look out for you. But I do want to talk about it again. What does coaching at UMES mean to you? Service. God has blessed me to be in a situation, this community, beyond the university, the community of Princess Anne, Salisbury has embraced me, has supported me. I felt nothing but love from a place that I feel indebted to. This place, fortunately, I'll be an alum. My expected graduation date is May of 25. I expect to walk across the stage with my doctorate degree from the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. And that's what makes it proud to me, to be a part of this institution on multiple levels, to have a daughter who's graduated from here, to have put in 19, 18, 19, 20 years. I get lost with the years, the time, but I'm always being indebted to this place. This place is special. My wife and I were talking the other day, and God has really blessed this place. And it's gone through a lot of changes. That you guys have seen, some ups and some downs, but in the midst of all that, the service that this institution has been provided to this community and to so many people shows nothing but God's blessing on the University of Maryland Eastern Shore. And I'm just grateful and thankful to be a part of it. Well, because we're grateful and thankful for you to be on this show. Ray, you want something you want to add? Because like you about to say something.
Just two things. One is, I just appreciate the respect you show to your colleagues, the other coaches, man. It's dope. We have a lot of coaches that come on this show, of course, we love them, man, and they always just express their gratitude. Just the way you approach, the game. You got to respect your opponent, like you kind of talked about teaching your players. But also, man, on a funny note, we had you last time. You talked about the food you ate on campus. You look a little lighter these days, man. What's the difference, man? Even Commissioner Steele joked about, like Soul Food Thursdays down at UMES. So what's the secret, man?
And I'm still going to Soul Food Thursday every Thursday. But now instead of the fried chicken, it's the baked chicken and the greens, and no candy yams, no macaroni and cheese. because as you get older, you get older, I started out at 5'10" and a half. Now I don't know if I'm 5'10" anymore. And, so as you start to shrink, you don't want to get wide at the same time too. So I like to show my kids that, being healthy is important. We did a boxing regiment with them in the last one. I did the workout with them. And it was a monster. We did up at Salisbury Gym. It was tough, but I think those type of things and being able and fortunate and healthy enough to participate with my kids and work out with them, it develops another level of connection, especially with young ladies, which is completely different than any other specimen on earth. They are uniquely special, and when they're with you, they're with you. So that's one of the things I've been trying to do is just try to stay healthy. With my eating habits. But I was thinking today as I was about to go home and watch the Bills tonight, I was thinking about going to get some of them pepper wings from Whistling. So y'all done got me, maybe, okay, so now I'm just gonna go home and eat that baked chicken that's in the refrigerator.
Hey, you cut the head too. I was like, okay, just new changes this year. I know that's right. Cut down the neck, cut the head. I know that's right, bro. Good to have you.
Man. That is hilarious.
I appreciate y'all, man. I really do. I appreciate y'all, and your support of your institution. And I don't think I have any other interviews like I have with y'all. So y'all bring out the best in me, I think. So I appreciate it.
We appreciate that. We really do. We appreciate
Praise God, brother.
Well, Coach, is there anything you'd like to add?
I can't think of anything. I've been talking a lot, man. I get to go on the kids and say, like that preacher that don't know how to close sometimes. But I just think I really pray that God is glorified in our season and our effort, and no matter what happens. That we are an example of His blessing and His grace and His mercy and faith. And I'll try to coach these young ladies with a head of wisdom and a heart of faith. And I pray that He's glorified in that process.
Oh, it's awesome. I'm sure He is. Like my mom always tells me, claim it. So it's claimed.
Amen.
Amen. You know it. Hey, Coach, thanks for being on. We appreciate you for being on HBCU Corner with the Urban Sports Thing.
My pleasure, man. Y'all have a great year. Happy holidays.
Same here. Thank you so much.
Man. We'll see you later this year.